Hey, what's going on, guys? So, this is day 18 now of the vocabulary challenge, and today I'm going to try and make this one kind of quick. I wanted to look at some Robert Glasper stuff today, and I was looking at his song North Portland, which is originally from his earlier Canvas album. I love everything that he does, but I thought that this was a cool one because it's an earlier album and it's still pretty much an acoustic album, and it's just got that classic Robert Glasper sound. And originally, I thought maybe I would try and analyze or talk about the chord changes a little bit because I think a lot of the way he moves his harmony around is very original. Now everybody copies it, but I kind of wanted to maybe try and pick apart some commonalities. I might talk about the chords a little bit, but then I also just want to show you this one line that I like that he plays over his solo, and it's really quick. It's nothing necessarily too in-depth or groundbreaking, but I just think it sounds good, and there's something cool that I like to point out about it. So first, I'm just going to play the song, like the melody, and I'll just kind of play the chords along with the recording, and I'll talk about like maybe some common things that I'm noticing. I've learned some other Robert Glasper songs as well before, and I learned this morning by ear, and then I actually found like a chart online that I was right with a lot of it. I mean, not that the chart is 100% correct either, but most of this I did by ear. So let me just play along with this song real quick. Okay, so that was mostly correct. There's one part I think I missed one change, but if you look at some of these changes, one thing that he likes to do a lot, he likes to do a lot of these almost like non-functional chromatic movements between like sometimes like major chords and minor chords. So the song opens up with like and the song is in 5, by the way, but it's basically like one chord per measure, and it opens up with like a E major 7 to like an F minor or like an F minor 9. You can play E major 9 for the first if you want, but even moving like something like that, like an E major 7 9 to like an F minor 9, you have two of the notes that stay the same. The other two move up. So it's got real smooth voice leading. So a lot of times if you're writing, for example, it's really cool. I mean, when you're writing, this is something I can make a whole video about, but if you do want to kind of get like a non-functional type sound, to really just focus on voice leading and taking things and moving it around, like that's what I think this exemplifies, because that's obviously non-functional. But if you just thought like, hey, I'm going to use these two voicings and then move the other two up, you get a nice smooth motion. And then from there it goes to C sharp minor 11, which is also similar to the original E major chord anyway, and then to like a C major. So again, same type of thing. You have a minor chord, then moving a half step down to the major, so it's like backwards of what you had before. Then he'll do like a lot of, here you have like a F sharp minor 9 to C sharp minor 9 to C major 7, or A minor as you see it, and then it kind of repeats. F sharp minor 9, C major, or C sharp minor 9, C major 7 to like a D major or like a D9, then that kind of repeats. Then that's what I messed up before. Then you go to E flat major 7 to like D major 7 to like a C over G, almost a D major 7. So he's moving around with like a lot of parallel voicings. Then back to the E flat major. Then he might embellish it with the 5th and the bass. And then he'll do, I'm hearing like a E minor major 7 with the 9. And then this part, those chords, I know that the second part kind of sounds like a E flat over E. I'm not really sure what happens before that. Some sort of like bitonal type thing, like a triad moving down. I'm not sure if it's an F major triad, but I think the bass motion is actually going E flat to E. Could be wrong about that. That's the part I'm the most unsure about. And then the last 4 changes, which is the chords that the line I want to show you today is over, is C minor 7 to A flat minor 7 to B flat minor 7, or some people see it as G flat major 7, but I like to hear it as B flat minor 7 to E flat major 7. And that too, again, this is like parallel harmony, just parallel minor chords, and that's a really cool device that he likes to use in a lot of his compositions as well, and a lot of other people too. When I had that one day where I was analyzing some hiatus coyote changes, I was talking a lot about parallel harmony, and it's great to use in substitution. For example, I mean, if you see the first and the last chord here, he's going C minor 7, then he's approaching E flat major 7, which is basically like a substitution for like a C minor, but he kind of travels to that chord by use of parallel minor 7 chords. It's like, you know what I mean? So it's a real cool way to navigate from one chord to another, and you can use it in your compositions. So that was actually more than I actually expected to talk about the chords there, but like I said, he's very original with his chord progressions and stuff like that, so I thought it was a cool thing to check out. And then the line, so like I said, it's over those changes at the end there, where it's like C minor 7, A flat minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat major 7. And let me play the line, so it's coming up. Okay, right now. Okay, and I've kind of heard him play this line in some of his other songs too. It kind of sounds like one of his, part of his own personal language and vocabulary, but it sounds great. And, what I got, right? And it's really just outlining the changes, but the thing that I like about it is this is just a good demonstration of how sometimes when you're soloing, basically this is a good example of like motivic development, because the rhythm is similar in all those lines, and he's kind of like adjusting it to fit the next chord. He's even kind of starting with the same note in most of those, or the first 3 phrases. So the first chord, you got a C minor, and that's almost like an E flat major, which again is related to C minor. But then over the A flat minor 7, he plays everything exactly the same, except for instead of playing this G, he plays this G flat, because that would be like the flat 7 in A flat minor. So he's just adjusting the notes that he already had to fit the next chord. Okay, and then now this, for B flat, you got the tonic, that. So now he's kind of changing the contour a little bit, but he's still adjusting the notes to fit the next chord. And he's got some chromatic passing tones, so from the top. And then, last chord, E flat major 7, so he slides into the 3rd. And then he plays around with it and goes to the minor 3rd. And it's kind of, I think it depends on where it happens in the form, because after the E flat major 7, the next chord, which would be the top of the form, is E major 7. And if you think E major, if you turn what we had like into minor, because we had, so now it's like kind of like an E minor triad. E flat minor E flat minor is like a Phrygian chord almost in relationship to if E was like a Lydian sound. So that can be his way of almost taking you back to the original forms. Again, the chords are changing E flat major 7 to E major 7. So what he does is he kind of plays like E flat major to E flat minor, which kind of implies that, you know, that whole Lydian, what am I doing? Sorry. I have this cool voicing for Lydian that I like to use, but I'm totally messing it up right now. Hold on. Wow. Oh, right here. Yeah, I had a little brain fart there for a second. But, yeah, basically that voicing is a cool shape if you're curious. A lot of times I like to think exactly like that for Lydian. For, like, if you have E Lydian, for example, you just think of the minor triad that is a half step down, which in this case is E flat. So I also like to play this voicing sometimes, which is basically a straight up root position E flat minor triad with an E in the bass. But this shape that I use is more like a spread E flat minor triad. Nice shape because the notes are spread out well. So that's just a little extra cool chord voicing for you there. But yeah, just a simple line that, again, I think it just demonstrates well how you can just alter what you already have in terms of like a motif and just kind of make sure you fit the chord changes. It can be a real nice way to play over changes. Okay, so this one wasn't really a lot today because, again, I thought I was going to talk more about the harmony, but then I'm just like, oh, these are cool changes, but there's not really necessarily much that I thought of to say about them, so I wanted to show you this cool quick line as well. So that's about it, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you tomorrow.